Welcome to another episode of the Horror Never Dies. I almost said the Perp Show, but it's the wrong show. This is season two of the Horror Never Dies podcast. You know what I'm saying? Back for another year, another season. Feels really good. I got my one friend coming in soon. Um, but yeah, this is episode one of the new season, the worst of horror. We're gonna just talking about what are some of the worst things in the genre going on right now. And here goes Rashad. Let me add him real quick. What up, Rashad? Can you hear me? He probably just getting himself adjusted real quick. Let me take this down real quick too. This background. All right, I need to fix that too. I forgot, Streamyard has just changed a bunch of stuff. So, like I said, this is the first episode of the second season. We're going to do another episode tomorrow night. The reason being is because I originally wanted to premiere this last week, last Saturday, but I was in Florida, so I wasn't able to. So I was just like, damn, let me just do a two night kind of premiere thing. So we're gonna be talking about sequels tomorrow. So tune in for that. And for the people that are checking out live, I appreciate it. You catching the replay, I appreciate you as well. And just to kind of get things kicked off before we get into the main topic and whatnot. What up, Rashad?
Hey, what's good, Chief?
Yeah, yeah. You see, StreamYard's kind of changed up the circle thing, whatever. Like you could
Oh yeah,
make it
yeah,
a
I see
block.
that.
It
Yeah.
kind of looks better. I still got a matter of fact. Hold on, let me do this.
Hey, you can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, yeah. You coming in loud and clear. Let me do
Okay.
this instead. Background. 'Cause I should have had this already. I keep forgetting to add this shit. So it's just not a blank background and shit like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, wanted to start off with something kind of new. Probably do this every episode to kind of just break the ice before we get into the main stuff because we're only gonna be here for like an hour or so. So let me see. Yeah, okay, that's much better. Right here. Yep.
Yeah.
So you can get the gist of what this episode's about, the worst of horror. But before we get into that, like I said, let me uh show off something new that I've been kind of just, something that we can kind of talk about before getting into main topics and whatnot. Uh, the Horror Never Dies recommendations. This could be trailers, short movies, full length movie series, whatever. These are some of the things that I would recommend checking out the um, Terrifier 3 trailer, that officially dropped. Amazing. They had two different cuts. They had the naughty version, the naughty cut, and the nice cut. I didn't watch the nice cut because it's like that's all I need to see. This is that was cool, just the teaser. Say I know you said you're just going in there blind. You're not even watching a trailer.
Yeah.
Say it's not like anybody that's like a real fan of the Terrifier franchises needs trailers. You could just be like, "Oh, it's coming out this date," and people are going to show up in droves and stuff. And I really like the rollout of this movie. I think it's bigger than Terrifier 2 by far as just to roll out, like them even getting popcorn buckets for Cinemark. I think AMC is going to be doing a
Hmm.
popcorn bucket. I don't know what AMC is going to do. I'm not really impressed on what Cinemark did. It's just like one of those lazy, let's just slap a sticker on it type of thing. I
Right.
want AMC to really go crazy, and like a lot of people said, it should be all girls' mom's head should be the thing, but I was just like, that's Terrifier too. But like, you could still do like a decapitated head, just have it be Art's head or something like that, or you know what I'm saying, or I could see them doing a lot of creative things if it's in their budget and whatnot. But
Right.
my excitement for Terrifier 3 is just like astronomical right now. It's
We
just
need it, bro. We need it.
It most definitely, because like I've liked this year for horror, you know what I'm saying? Because like there's been a lot of original horror movies that have come out, and I'm gonna talk about a couple as well. But just what I got off of the trailer for Terrifier 3, I was just like, yo, you see that $2 million budget right there, which is kind of crazy for a Terrifier movie. And for those that didn't know, Terrifier 2, when it first came out, it only had like 700 something theaters. And then it went from 700 to having like over 1,500, you know, theaters. So if they have the same amount of theaters, like over 1,000, you know what I'm saying, I could see this doing well over that 15 million. I think it'll definitely double it. Or I even made a tweet earlier. It's like, yo, it'd be so crazy to see Terrifier 3 hit that $100 million mark and shit like that. That'd be insane.
That'd be
That'd be
wild.
insane.
Yeah.
That'd be insane. That'd be even though like I still think what it's doing is game changing, because it's a movie that, you know, no other studio would really put out. You know what I'm saying? Just based off of the contents that are in the, you know, in the films and stuff, especially like that the bedroom scene in 2. And it's just getting treated like it's a mainstream movie, which I really like, but it's like all independent type shit.
Yeah, well, the people have spoken, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, the studios, like most studios, don't even have the balls. Like even like a Blumhouse or Neon wouldn't have the balls to touch something like Terrifier. So, yeah, but I mean, but once the people have spoken, man, yo, you got it. Because I don't even think the producers expected to do that well.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
I
the
don't think
director and the
anybody
producer, it was
expected.
nobody expected that, man. But it was like a fucking phenomenon. So yeah, I'm hyped for 3, bro. Yeah, three should do some crazy numbers.
Especially what they're talking about, this controversial scene, which is most likely the opening scene to the movie, is like some of the most disturbing shit they've done in the series so far. I feel like that will help. You know, so even like just the controversy around the movie is what kind of gets people in the theater. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
Right.
you go to these Terrifier movies to be grossed out or just be like in all of just the practical effects and just the kills. Like that's what you mainly go for a Terrifier movie to go see. But on top of that, they've added um a whole new story element and stuff like that, which makes sense that, you know, if Damien is like talking about only wanting to do 4 films, it makes sense because you look at Terrifier as like kind of like the prologue, and then Terrifier 2 being like that first kind of film, and then 3 being the middle, and 4 being that final thing to kind of wrap things up. Where they could go in 4, I have no idea. And I think that's what really uh makes this whole franchise exciting, because you know, art doesn't really follow the traditional slasher tropes, like,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't really know or how you could predict he's going to kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Right.
you don't know how long that kill's going to be, because like the bedroom scene shows you that. I think that scene's like at least like if you just cut that together, I think that's like pretty much like a 3-minute scene. It feels like.
Yeah, that's probably the
Um,
longest kill I've ever seen.
yeah,
One
that's
of
what
the
I'm saying.
longest ones.
And you said you got something in Terrifier 3 that's going to top that. Like that's crazy to me. And just
Yeah,
like, yeah,
well,
we're
dog, a friend of mine interviewed the guy that played Art the Clown. He had
mm,
actually had him on his channel and interviewed him. Did you see that? I don't know if you heard of that channel, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he actually interviewed the actor that played Art the Clown, and he said that when they were filming it, he said there was a kill that was so disturbing even for him that he told Damien Leone like, "Hey, man, I'm not comfortable doing this, man." Like that. That's
Yeah, I
like
feel that. I feel that. And that's what's dope. When Art the Clown himself feels uncomfortable doing some
right.
shit, you already know like they're really going to try to top themselves. And you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
looking
I mean,
forward to it.
he didn't go into specifics, but he just said, yeah, he said, trust me, you haven't seen nothing yet. I'm like, ooh, I said, I hope he ain't capping. I hope he means this
I
shit.
Tony, Tony, I don't see him popping up in any other slashers, but like what I kind of get from Art is like he could be the Deadpool for slasher movies.
Mm,
Because when you watch this trailer, I'll just say like, um, there's a lot of hints to like there's little callbacks to like Black Christmas, The Shining, like a lot of different movies that you've seen. that takes place during the holidays and stuff like that. So like I like art that like when they kind of reference other horror movies within his movie and stuff like that. It's very like meta.
Okay.
And yeah, so I don't see him popping up in other horror movies, even though it'd be really cool to see him pop up in other things because he already has kind of broken the fourth wall in that All Hallows Eve movie and stuff and whatnot. But yeah, the next one is coming out of Shudder. Shudder always comes out with these really dope documentary series. Like they have 101 Scariest Moments and then like Cursed Films. Now they have Horror's Greatest, where I think this is like 6 episodes, 5 or 6 episodes or something like that.
Mm.
But they kind of just like the first episode was about tropes and cliches, just talking about all different types of tropes and cliches going back from the start all the way up to present day, and even talking about like, you know, the stupid decision tropes, the horny teens must die trope, just the way killers move, like that slow walk and whatnot. Black people
Right.
always dying in horror movies first. That was like they saved that one for last, but
Hmm.
fascinating, like series. And I've always said I feel like for people that are on the fence or just don't really vibe with horror, I feel like watching a lot of those documentaries will kind of not only spoil you in certain cases, but also like kind of I think those are good like icebreakers to kind of get people into it because once you understand like the behind the scenes, that makes you appreciate the genre even more. That like these people really, I feel like people within horror really care about filmmaking, and it's just like it shows when they try to make these practical kills or just knows how to entertain a crowd. And when I just overall feel like that's like the best way to kind of get people into horror movies and stuff like that is documentary
Well,
series.
Perp. Speaking of which, man, I think you'll be proud, bro. We had a breakthrough today, man. Remember how I told you how my son
But
is scared of horror movies? Like he won't watch any scary movies. Perp,
yeah,
we had a breakthrough today, man. We was happened to be on YouTube and we were scrolling and he saw a clip, thumbnail for Elm Street 4, the Dream Master, right? The roach scene. So he was like,
yeah,
"Oh," we said, "Is that Freddy?" I said, "Yeah, that's the fourth one." And I said, "That's the least scariest one." He said, "Oh, I want to see that part," because he was intrigued by the roach. So I showed him the scene and he watched it and he enjoyed it. And I said, "Son, I'm proud." Like he didn't get up and run out of nothing. He sat there and now he wants to watch the rest of the Elm Street movies. And man, I almost shed a tear, bro.
yeah. It'd be like that. Like with certain horror movies, like it just one movie might click with a kid and just or a person and just
Right.
then it just becomes a snowball effect that you go down the rabbit hole and find a bunch of different shit. Like you'll go through everything.
Right, right,
But
right. So I'm excited.
be- but horror's greatest. That's on Shutter. Definitely go check that out. I feel like it's very informative. Just breaking down the behind the scenes stuff. I think episode 2 is where they're going to be talking about the giant monsters like kaiju and stuff like that.
Mm,
Um, Now on YouTube there is I was telling you to check this out.
yeah.
Milk and Cereal. It's like an hour long, and it's these YouTubers that are known for making like comedy skits and stuff like that. And check out all their other things, but just through TikTok and the horror community on TikTok is like that's where I first heard about this. I was like, oh, what is this? I was like, oh, it's only an hour long. It was like, oh, this is the best found footage, woo woo woo, of the year. And I was just like, yo, this was a
Mm,
really good short film, or just like film overall, and just it did something unique with the found footage. You have like this character Milk with his friend Seven. They sit around making prank videos and stuff like that, and then starts to get revealed, and you realize that this dude Milk's not all the way right in his head, but you could go check that out as well. Did you get around to watching it?
yes, I did. Yes, yeah. I finished it about an hour before we started this.
Oh, word, word. How'd
Yeah.
you think about it?
It was different, man. I wasn't expecting it to go where it went. Like it was a prank within a prank within a prank within a prank.
Yeah.
So it's like you get to the place where it's like, okay, is this whole damn movie a prank? Like it kind of makes you like kind of like, okay, what's real and what's not real. So I thought it was an interesting watch, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it helps that it's only like an hour long, so you can just like kind of
Right.
breeze through it, and you can watch it twice if you really wanted to.
Yeah,
If you want to
yeah.
sit there.
Terrence, what up, man? I didn't get a chance to say what's up to Terrence. Say, what up, bro?
Yeah, Terrence in the
Um,
building.
yeah, Milk. Yeah, even the actor that played Milk, he was creepy a little bit. Like there was times where he would have
Yeah,
these monologues and look at the camera, and with his bug eyes, and
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, this guy he ain't rap too tight.
yeah. When you first see the kind of like the reveal, you're like, oh shit, yeah, that you already know. There's always that one friend, that one white friend that's just crazy as
Right.
hell, and just what I'm saying, and the shit that it was a really well like put together movie. You know what I'm saying? I'll
Yeah.
be curious to see what they're gonna do next if they're gonna do more horror and stuff like that. Um,
Mhm.
Three movie recommendations though I could definitely say off the rip, just off this summer. These summer releases, just three that I can think of off the top of my head: Strange Darling, Fire, Oddity, and Long Legs. I really like these three. These three for me are the best horror movies that I've seen thus far, and they're all original too. Like that's what's
Yeah.
dope. Did
Yeah.
you how many did you see any of these? Did you get around to?
Yeah. Actually, I saw a Strange Darling on my birthday about 3 days ago. That was well, that
Happy
was
happy
Tuesday.
belated. Happy
Oh, thank you,
belated.
man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. So actually, I took my mom's and my daughter to see Strange Darling, and you're like, you took your mom to see that? Look, it was my birthday. I said I told her I was going to the movie. She said, "Well, I'll go with you, baby." I said, "Mom, I'm going to see a scary movie." Ah, it's okay. I'll go with you. And like the first 10 minutes, man, I felt very uncomfortable. Like that's not a movie you want to watch with your parents, man.
Yeah, yeah, because like when they get to like what chapter one and shit like that, that's where it gets
Right,
like real
right.
sexual at first. But I love how that shit is cut up because I feel like that's what really works about the movie that they tell it out of order and stuff like that. But there's a
Yeah,
lot of like surprise and reveals. And I even think they cut the trailer really well to kind of make you think, oh, it's gonna be one of those kind of cliche cat and mouse movies, but nah, this
mhm.
definitely kind of
Nah,
feels
it's
different and
definitely
kind of flips it on its head.
yeah, yeah, and it kind of felt like Pulp Fiction too, like the way it was like out of order. Like you say, that like it went from chapter one to like chapter six, and then it'll go back to chapter three, then go to chapter five, and I'm like, dog. And the first thing I thought of was Pulp Fiction, how it was like
Hmm.
non-linear, you know what I mean? And yeah, I had a good time with that movie, man. It was, but I wouldn't classify it as horror though, because my mom even said too, she was like, that wasn't scary. I said, well, it said horror on the app, so it's supposed to be a horror movie, but
I would say I would say it's still hard because it's like suspense and like it's not horror in the traditional sense where it's supposed to be scary.
right.
It's more of like it's like that suspense thriller, but I would still classify it as horror and stuff like that.
Well, to be honest, bro, hey, I don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the movie, but there were times where I was laughing, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh at this, but I was like, and I don't want to spoil it, man, but yeah, there were a couple of scenes where I was in the theater laughing my ass off.
I could probably think of what you're talking. I could probably
Yeah.
think about what you're talking about, but yeah, the main actress in here, she did a phenomenal job. Like
That bitch was crazy.
yeah, I was just like, yo,
Yeah, that bitch was buck
and
wild crazy.
and the other dude, Kyle, I forget his last name, but he's always in like different movies. He's always kind of sidelined and stuff. It's
Hmm.
dope to kind of see him in a main lead and stuff like that.
Right.
Strange Darlings was definitely like one of the better movies this year
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, I had a good time with that one.
Did you check out Oddity?
Yes, I did. I didn't review it, but I
Yeah,
did. Yeah, I watched that one recently too. Yeah. Ah, man,
that
that scared the shit out of me. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I
that
mean,
that to me, I feel like has the best opening like of the year. Like that opening was crazy. Just the whole setup, like, oh, somebody's in
mhm.
your house. Like, do you let this person in or do you like don't believe him and stuff like that? It's just that was just such a really great movie that kind of set the tone and whatnot. And then like we got Long Legs, which a lot of people are mixed with the ending. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's gonna grow on people over time, but it's still a really solid, really great horror movie in my opinion. And just like it gets better off of rewatches and whatnot because there's a lot of things that will go over your head. Like how many times did you see the man downstairs. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times did you see that demon? Like, I counted 6. You know, the first time I missed so many, but like apparently there's like 15 or some shit like that. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. So with that being said,
Well, hold
all
on.
right,
I just want to interject one thing real quick, man.
yeah, go
Long
ahead.
Legs, I did not hate the movie. Like a lot of people like did not like it. Like my boy Q, he absolutely hated the movie. But to me, it was underwhelming because I feel like Long Legs did have potential, and there were some creepy elements in there, man. But it's like that ending, kind of like Alien Romulus, man. The ending kind of fucked it up for me.
I would say, like, because to me, yeah, like that's a lot of people's complaints about it, but like I don't think people really thought about that ending and just
Yeah,
when you let the ending process, because it's kind of like you can kind of look at it in multiple ways. Like that's a definitive end, or there's going to be a sequel.
right.
Um, or just kind of look at it like, while she stopped right there, is the evil already in her? You know what I'm saying? By just
Yeah,
killing her, just offing, X character and stuff like that. Like, because I watching it a second time and like listening to what Longlegs said, like this was all his plan. Like that's what I'm saying. Like everything he
mm-hmm.
did up until that point, was planned by him. Like he wanted to be caught. He wanted this to happen, and now that he's pretty much free. He could do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always going to be a part of her, like Lee and stuff, and you know what I'm saying. Which there's, like I said, there's many ways that you can interpret that ending, and that's why I say I feel like over time people will probably understand that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or just like I understood what he was kind of going for, but like some people don't like those like obscure kind of abrupt endings and stuff like that. So I completely understand, but I still think the movie's fire
Yeah, like, but
really well.
it felt pretentious. It felt like it was trying to be more than what it was. By the end, you're like, okay, they were going for something here, but by the end, it just felt like a fucking unseasoned chicken. You know what I'm saying? It just like
Mm,
like compared to Oddity, like Oddity messed with me the whole day. Like I watched that in the daytime because I'm a coward. You know what I'm saying? So I watched in the daytime, and that movie stuck with me through the whole. Like, damn, that shit disturbed me. When I finished Long Legs, I was like. I said, I felt like Great Value, Silence of the Lambs, and your girl was like Clarice,
I
but
I
with,
di-
with no
I
personality.
disagree. I disagree with like the great value, like Silence of the Lambs, because Silence of the Lambs was never scary to me. Like
Nah,
this legit got under my skin, and I feel like if they were to release this more in like Prime theaters or like Dolby, that
yeah,
that amplifies that movie. Like just the sound design and everything, it just amplifies that movie and makes it even better. You know what I'm saying? Because like you'll have certain like parts in the movie where you hear the heartbeat, but then like you'll hear it go throughout like your whole chair pulsate or something like that, or just
right.
it just works perfectly with the sound and stuff like that. And I wish they would have done that more because that's like a completely different experience than just watching in a regular theater and
Yeah, I
whatnot.
mean,
And
yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like it had its moments. It had its moments,
mm,
but by the end of like it didn't do nothing for me. And I can't believe Silence of the Lambs didn't scare you. That when I first saw that movie fucked me up.
yeah, it was cool, but it's just that shit kind of made me laugh, like rewatching it, and just
Yeah,
I never was intimidated by Anthony Hopkins as like fucking Hannibal Lecter. I like his character. I just never was I'd be more creeped out seeing long legs because he's like, what do you talk? He's like, when he talk, he's like, oh, I wear my long legs today. What the fuck you mean you wear your long legs today? What does that mean? And just I just like the vibe of long legs. Like I think it has good atmosphere, and I think that's what's missing in a lot of like
hmm,
that gets missed in a lot of horror movies is like capturing like that unsettling kind of feeling, just like
right.
something's off about this whole entire movie. Like it feels evil type shit. Like
That's how
you know,
Oddity had me. That's like Oddity,
hmm
like at the end, and not to really spoil, but at the end, it's like it's really quiet, and it's like you're waiting for something to happen, and then right before it ends, it's like, but it's like so like subtle. You're like, oh,
hmm
like, I kind of perp. I had one of those moments. Like, whoa, oh shit!
hmm
Then the credits rolled. I said, God damn it. That shit was
Yes,
wild.
yes. Anthony Hopkins was not intimidating. Maybe because it's just like I don't know, like killers like that don't scare me, and that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, horror movies be subjective. Like certain things going to scare you, might not like scare me, might not scare you, type shit. Like that's always going to
Well,
happen. Because another example is like Mike Myers. I've never found to be scary, even as a kid.
yeah,
Never found him to be scary. But I still like the movies and stuff like that. Like I think it's effective for the movies, but I just never been intimidated or just like, oh, saying nothing like a Jason or a Freddy, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
the Puppet Masters fuck me. Now, Child's Play did more damage to me as a kid
Mm,
than Freddy or Jason. So,
mm,
that's
yeah.
just me.
Well, it wasn't so much Anthony Hopkins, but the Buffalo Bill characters what did it for me because that whole cross dressing thing that he did, and then
Hmm.
the scene where she was in the dark and he had
Hmm.
those glasses on where he could see her, but she couldn't see him. I remember that scene leaving me so like on edge, you know what I'm saying? Because he was like right up on her and she had no idea, like stuff like that. So yeah, I was more scared of Buffalo Bill than I was Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, a lot of people would consider Silence of the Lamb a thriller, but I still put it in horror because it's still
Yeah,
about a serial killer and stuff like that. But
right.
you know, now I'm just saying, as a kid, I was scared of Chucky because like I used to have a bunk bed. I always thinking he was gonna crawl, like his little ass legs and stuff like that. Like little
Yeah.
stuff like that affected me more. Or even I don't know if it was Tales from the Hood or whenever they had that evil African doll, whatever that was chasing that white lady, some shit, white dude or some shit around. Like that shit terrified the fuck out of me. Like stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's why I also find like movies like I saw the TV Glow so fascinating and stuff like that because it talks about like nostalgia. Like they have a one line of dialogue where it's just like you remember something being different when you were younger to when you watch it when you're older, it doesn't really hit the same. And you have that effect when you're an adult. Like you watch like a lot of these older horror movies and they don't have the same effect. They're still great, but they just don't have that same effect when you're older and stuff and whatnot.
right.
But all right, so let's get into the main meat of the main topic here, the worst of horror. Now, I want to start this off with Blumhouse. Blumhouse is the new Disney.
Mm,
Blumhouse is the worst of horror at this point. At this point in time, I literally went to go see Afraid just so I could talk about so I could talk my shit because they have just been dropping ass on top of ass, bro. Just this whole entire year. I don't know what's going on. I don't think they even gonna steer this ship with Speak No Evil because that's a remake of a movie that came out literally what like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I was just
mm.
like, man, what do you
Well,
think? What's
Blumhouse
your
used to be. Well, Blumhouse used to be on point, man. They used to be past tense.
Yeah, and I had to look at their filmography just to see like where did they start fucking up at? And I think it was with Black Christmas. That was
Mm,
like the end of 2019, and then since the 2020s, like they really, they've been kind of dropping really like trash, man. Except for like the only one that I actually like that I feel like they should have released in theaters. I don't know why, and they decided to release it in on streaming is Totally Killer. I think that would have done crazy for them because that was actually a solid movie. That was a
yeah,
solid watch. It was pretty funny. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
they put that on streaming, but they put everything else like a Night Swim, Imaginary. What else they have?
Oh, that's right. Night Swim was Blumhouse. Yeah,
Yeah, that shit was garbage. What else did they drop?
yeah.
They dropped Afraid. What came out before that? Afraid. Just recently? I can't
Shit, I
think
don't
of
even
it.
know. I stopped keeping up with Blumhouse a while ago, man. Like the glory days was like the Purge movies and the Halloween remake and all that. But yeah, lately they just been trash.
No, no, Terrence. They they've just been dropping the ball. Like this is like back-to-back years where they're just dropping whatever. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. Like they feel like it feels like the new Disney to me because it's like Disney just pumping out remakes, um, certain sequels that nobody wants. You know, and that's the same thing with Blumhouse. Is Blumhouse is just dropping a lot of just mid to just really bad movies. It's just like a lot of this shit feels like chat GPT like writing a lot of these scripts and just cranking them out. I know they got a Wolfman movie next year.
Oh yeah, I
I
seen
don't think
that.
that's gonna.
Yeah.
I went to when I went to Universal and stuff last week and shit. Like I seen a poster of like the house for the Wolfman or something like that. I was like, oh, that looks cool, but I know it's Blumhouse, so I gotta keep my expectations to the fucking ground. Like,
I don't know. Could it be like the CEO or whatever? Maybe I don't. Did they change like CEOs or something? Because yeah, at one point like Blumhouse was the go to for horror. You know what I'm saying? Especially like the slasher type horror. And now
mhm.
I don't know what the hell.
I think it's just the fact that even though they'll make bad horror movies, they make a shit ton of money.
Right.
They make a shit ton of money, and it's like, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy was garbage, but that was like their most profitable movie last year.
Mm,
It's crazy, and
yeah.
it's just like I wish they would just kind of just look at what Neon, Shutter, and A24 is doing with their horror movies, and just be like, that's more of what people kind of want. You know what I'm saying? And they make a lot of these like sloppy entry level like horror movies that just why are y'all doing this? Like this is the same company that gave us like Get Out and stuff like movies like Get Out,
Hmm.
but then like why can't we stay with that consistent quality of horror movies? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of be like, here's $10 million, make whatever you want because we're gonna double that anyways, and you know what I'm saying they don't. eh, and they got a lot of shit for the Halloween movies, and I don't think Ends is as bad as like everybody tries to make it out to be. Like, I
Yeah.
still think Resurrection is dog shit compared to that.
Resurrection. Is that the Buster Rhymes one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't. Maybe they I don't want to say underestimate the fans, but maybe because, like you said, even though the movies are bad, they make a lot of money. So I guess they figure, well, hey, this is dog shit, but people are paying to see it. So it's easier to put out dog shit than to put out a quality product because you know with how unpredictable the movie industry is, you don't know what's going to hit and what's not going to hit. But it's like, fuck it, just put out whatever, and
so
as long as
they playing Russian roulette. They'd be like, yeah,
yeah,
we just gonna throw out bunches to see which ones hit and shit like. Which I feel like it'd be cool, but it's just like, man, y'all could just be killing it right now, just alongside, Shutter and all them. Like, look at what Shutter put out. They put out Late Night with the
lay down
Devil.
with
They
the
start.
devil.
I think yeah, they kicked off the year with that. Then they had In a Violent Nature, which had mixed reviews, but it's still original and they're doing something different.
Yeah,
And then recently they put out Oddity, three completely different movies.
right.
And it has like, and they all have kind of like found their different footings, and they've all been somewhat successful and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's just like, and then you look at Neon. Neon's probably had the best year this year. They had Long Legs that just hit 100 million,
Hmm.
which congratulations to them. They had Cuckoo. A lot of people
I
are
still
mixed with
gotta see
Cuckoo, but
that.
Cuckoo was pretty cool.
Yeah, I still gotta see
Um,
that.
so- did they Strange Darling? Strange Darling?
I was
Neon?
thinking, was Strange Darling Neon? No, I think that's Miramax, not Miramax, but
Miramax? Okay.
yeah, I think it's Miramax. Yeah,
Yeah, and even Bloody Disgusting is doing this thing with Screenbox and stuff like that. Like, I just like the fact that we get to see a lot more low budget horror movies in theaters.
right.
Because I feel like if the pandemic didn't happen, probably wouldn't be seeing a lot of these smaller movies being put in theaters like that.
Hmm.
Um, so it has its plus and it has its positives and negatives and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, what it's gonna take for Blumhouse is when their movies stop making money. you know. And it's funny you compare it to Disney because Disney's kind of in the same boat where they figure as long as it has a Marvel logo on it, you know, people are gonna love it. And that's why they had to switch things up because, like, no, people are not loving your movies, but actually people hate Phase 4. And so that's why they had to bring back RDJ and, like, go back to the drawing board. And that's probably what Blumhouse is going to have to do. Maybe bring back The Purge or something like that and then build from
No,
there.
absolutely not. Stay away from the Purge. We
Well, I'm just
really
saying because
don't.
the Purge was, you know, Blumhouse. That's, you know, the Purge is the house that Blumhouse built. You know what I'm saying?
That's
You know,
true, but it's
yeah,
just like that's why I go like you don't want to go too far deep because I feel like what we on like Purge 7 or some shit like that, or and
yeah,
they had the Paranormal Activity that they ran that shit to the fucking mud. So it's just like look at what Neon A24 and everything body's doing, and just you don't have to blatantly copy them, but just see this is what people actually want to see. They want to see well-made horror movies instead of y'all just kind of throwing some shit out there like
yeah.
Afraid. Don't even market it and expect people to just fall in love with the product and stuff like that.
Well, basically,
I think
what the point I'm really making is like go back to the roots. You know what I'm saying? Go back to what made you famous. Oh shit! Hey, yo, you probably ordered something there, bro. Hey, listen, I'd watch that. Yeah,
right.
Fire Purge. Okay, it's Fire Purge. Okay, I figured it was like about
That's
five.
five too many and too many show. Like no,
Shit.
that should have even been a show. Like why are you making the Purge a series? Like that shit's stupid.
Well, shit, if they can get a hold of Friday the Third, like what's going on with Friday the 13th? Are they still like in this legal thing
I
where they
think they're
can't make
still. I still
another?
think they're. I think they are still moving forward with that.
Yeah.
I just wish it wasn't on Peacock. Like, why? I just. I just wish like more of the horror stuff would go to these other. What I'm saying, go to like Shutter or something like that. Even though I know Shutter is like a smaller platform compared to Peacock, but I feel like more people like horror fans will tune into Shutter and stuff like that. Shutter's
Oh,
platform's not bad. Like
Shutter's
I
on the
like the fact.
rise, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that like any movie you watch on there, you can put out a little review and like rate the movie and stuff like that, like out of 5 skulls or something like that. So I feel like more apps need to have that. I know Crunchyroll, they just took off their whole comment section thing, whatever, which kind of
Mhm.
sucks. But it's just better for engagement, I guess. But
Well,
I don't know
Shutter's on the rise, man. Because I mean, this could be 2 years in a row where they have the best horror movie of the year. Because last year was when Evil Lurks. That was a Shutter
Mhm,
joint, and I think this year so far, Late Night with the Devil is the best horror movie of the year, and that's Shutter.
mhm.
Yeah, so they're on
Yeah.
the rise, man.
Yeah, and with A24, like they still make good like horror movies. Like they had I saw the TV Glow. They had the Maxine. They just finished up the whole X trilogy with Maxine
Mhm.
and whatnot. So they had a solid year this year. I just
Yeah,
think they need to tighten up with the release the way that they release things and stuff like that. Like the whole scatter release schedules and stuff like that. It's just very I feel like okay, it was cool at the beginning, like it was cool a couple years ago, but like let's get some like regular release windows and stuff like that instead of
yeah.
just like why aren't people able to see Sing Sing like right now and just that's just a little side rant from like little like thing that kind of annoys me about A24, but other
Right.
than that, they still good company and stuff like that. Still good. They still put out really solid movies.
Tara said he hated it. You know what? I refuse to watch. I saw the TV Glow just because I can't stand your boy. What's his name? Justice Smith. Can't
Yeah.
stand that
I
motherfucker,
can't stand him
man.
neither, but he was good in that.
Oh,
Pearl was 2022, Guru.
yeah, I was 2022. Yeah, Pearl over Maxine. Yeah, I agree with that.
They probably we would have gotten Maxine probably last year if we didn't have that strike and stuff. Like a lot of that strike like fucked up a lot of things.
Yeah, people weren't crazy about Maxine. Personally, I dug it. I mean, I wouldn't say it was better than Pearl, but I thought Maxine was straight. You know, the ending was kind of weird. I think that's probably what threw people off was the ending of it. But
Mhm.
I had no issues with it really.
Yeah, a lot of people say like I saw the TV Glow was boring. It's a very slow burn movie, but like the premise and stuff that it was going for is very fucking fascinating. Like those last like 20 minutes are the best parts of the movie. And it's just like it just one of those movies that definitely gonna stick with you, especially if you're older, you know, and just going through life shit. Like that movie is really impressive. But
Well, I tell
you know,
you what, the
Blumhouse.
only way I'll watch I saw the TV Glow, and you can spoil it if you want, is if your boy gets a fucking Terrifier death. All right, that's the only way I'll watch it.
Nah, it doesn't get a terrifying death, but I just feel like the subject matter is very very unique, just the way that they handle nostalgia and how that can actually be pretty scary. Um, you know, especially just when you're a kid and then you're growing up and you get attached to certain things, and it's a really fascinating movie.
Hmm.
But yeah, Blumhouse aside, they're definitely one of the things that hold horror back, and they're not the only ones. Sony kind of sneaked in with Tarot. That movie was fucking. That movie had potential, but if it wasn't, for one thing, if it wasn't rated R and if it wasn't made by Sony, it
Yeah,
would probably be a better movie. You know what I'm saying? Because like you have this whole premise of all these tarot cards predicting everybody's death and stuff like that, but then it's PG-13 and they only have one cool fucking death in the whole entire movie, and the rest of the shit is just super just predictable. It's just very sloppy.
yeah, I heard that movie. Yeah, that movie made a lot of people's worst list I've seen. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of worst of.
that was terrible. Like even Shutter had a bad one. What was it? Was History of Violence? I think it was called, or some shit. Violent. I forget exactly what it was, but that shit was bad. Uh,
Well,
Potent.
personally, which one?
No, I was gonna say like we could talk about horror movies that are gonna be potentially bad in the future. Like I don't think that scary movie that's coming out next year is gonna be any good. I completely forgot they were still making that. Um, but what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, well, for me, man, the worst for me right now is I know you disagree with this, but In a Violent Nature, I absolutely hated that with a passion, with every fiber of my being. Just because, like, okay, they sold me and they sold everybody on, okay, this is a different slash movie where you're seeing it now through the eyes of the killer. So I'm thinking we're gonna see this shit like kind of like Michael Myers in the first movie, where you see it through his eyes, through the mask, and when he killed his sister. I thought it was gonna be on that shit, but no, we followed the back of this nigga's head for an hour and 20 minutes where there's a 5-minute scene of him walking through a lily field. I watched this in a big ass fucking cinema.
That was actually pretty dope. I will say, like, you know what I'm saying, like I'm not knocking nobody that didn't like that hated that movie, because it's
Yeah,
like that's very risky to do in the first place. Like you would probably do that with like a short film or something like that, but to do that with an hour and 30-minute movie or some shit. But I actually kind of liked it, just because it's like you just hear like he'll walk by a cabin, you'll just hear conversations going, and that's how they chose to tell the story,
right.
through his perspective, which was cool. And that yoga scene, you can't deny that that's not one of the best fucking kills of the year. Probably like one of the best kills of all time. Like that yoga shit was fucking gnarly as fuck. I like,
When he put the hook through the girl and like kind of
yeah,
Mortal
yeah,
Kombat. Okay, yeah,
yeah,
that was cool. Okay, I'll give it that. But everything else, okay. The one part that pissed me off the most is the
yes,
scene with
Terminator is a horror movie.
yes, the first Terminator. Yes, that's a slasher movie. Dog, the scene where he killed your boy and he was setting this machine up, and the whole scene
Yeah,
was him.
that took too long. He thought he was art. He thought he was art, which would be so dope if these two crossed. Did like a Jason versus Freddy type of shit. And it's like you can have even a scene of him walking in art just being like, what the fuck is taking him so long type of
Yeah,
shit.
like,
Like
dude, like, what are you doing? And bro, and Perp, the way the movie ended, where okay, once again, okay, I know this is a Friday the 13th ripoff. Okay, this is supposed to be Jason. So I thought they were biting from the first movie where your girl picked up Mrs. Voorhees and she didn't realize she was Mrs. Voorhees until it was revealed, like, yeah, Jason is my son. I thought it was gonna be something like that, but they just talked and talked, and then the movie went off.
mhm.
And I said, fuck this movie, man. I got in my car, did a whole rant video about it, man. Y'all feel free to check it out if you want.
I didn't mind that too much because she was telling a whole story and stuff that had to do with the with Johnny and stuff and whatnot. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with the sequel and stuff like that. Like if they listen to the criticism and stuff like that,
They're
and
doing a sequel?
yeah,
Oh my god.
it could be you know what I'm saying, like I said, they could like listen to some of the criticism, kind of cut down some of the walking a bit. You know,
Yeah.
that's all you have to really do. Um, You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
But I still like the idea because it's something we haven't seen before or just like really done in that fashion and whatnot.
yeah,
So
the premise was very intriguing. I just thought the execution was bullshit. You said Terminator. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one, Terrence. The first Terminator was a sci-fi horror movie because that nigga was a slasher. All right, now the second movie is action sci-fi for sure. Just like
yeah,
Alien and Aliens. Alien is a straight up sci-fi horror, and Aliens is sci-fi action.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
just the fact that it's a killer robot coming after you. That's horror.
Scared the shit out of me as a kid. Yo, Perp, I saw the first Terminator when I was 5 years old, bro. And
Yeah, that's a while ago.
that was my introduction to Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's the first time I've ever seen him. You know what I'm saying? And I walked in. My father was watching it, and I walked in on the scene where he took his eyeball out, and then
Mhm.
he like split his arm in half. Like that fucked me. I said, oh, I ain't doing this. And the fact that they couldn't kill him for nothing, like every time they shot him, ran him over, he just kept coming back. He was like Jaws, you know. So nah, that first one was definitely a horror
It's
slasher.
it you could say it's classified as that, but it takes a lot of horror elements. Like that first
Yeah,
one is very much a slasher,
yes,
like to the
sir.
T.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
scared me as a kid.
It's just like when you're watching like these Godzilla movies. People forget that that's also considered horror, but like
Hmm.
it's kind of like over here in America, they've completely changed it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Completely changed it
right.
into like just more of action movies and stuff like that. But like
Well,
any horror documentary you watch or some shit, they're always gonna bring up Godzilla at some point when they hit like the 50s and stuff like that. Like they talk about the kaiju.
speaking of which, would you consider Alien Romulus a horror movie? Would you put that as one of the top horror movies of the year?
I gotta go back and because I completely like switched some things around, but yeah, it definitely I think it cracks my top 10 horror movies of the year so far. Um,
Yeah,
I really like the practical effects used in there and stuff like that, and that stuff is special to me too. Like, um, but what are some other worst horrors?
that's the main one that sticks out. That violent nature that pissed me off.
It's a horror movie everybody.
Actually, no, I got two of them. Purpose. I've been watching like a lot of movies like over the past couple weeks, man. Two of them. The Beast Within was absolute shit. Um, and
I didn't hate it though. You know what I'm saying? I was like, because it's refreshing to see Kit in something else other than like Game of Thrones and stuff, and just playing like the hero. I feel like he plays a better villain. It's an interesting take on like werewolves and stuff because we don't really get that like a lot of werewolf content. So
But that's the thing.
you know,
It was a werewolf movie, but no damn wolf. You don't see the wolf until the end of the movie, and then when you do see the wolf, it's so dark. Where I guess they didn't have confidence in how the wolf looked, so it was so dark I could barely see it, and I'm
yeah, I
like,
could say I
dude,
could say yeah, that was a problem. Like the movie was too dark at
it
times.
was too dark, man. They
I
never showed the wolf, and on top of that, you can't have a werewolf movie without a transformation scene. There was no transformation scene at all. It was just This is the most wolfless werewolf movie I've ever seen.
Werewolf by Night was my favorite. Like that's the best shit like Marvel came out with in years.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was fire. I was just like in the transformation scene and just it being in black and white. I didn't watch the color version, but I was just like, yo, give bruh all the supernatural horror shit, bro. Why are we taking so long to do a Blade movie? Just give this man Blade. He knows what he obviously knows what he's doing when it comes to horror and stuff, and just this shit. Give him that.
Facts.
And like I said, like Blumhouse is coming out with the Wolfman early next year, so I think it was supposed to come out this fall, but then it got pushed, what makes me think it's gonna be trash.
Who's playing the Wolfman?
Yes, but like I'm not gonna argue with Terrence tonight. Not doing it.
What
But
do you say? Cypher.
Yes, I understand that, but it's just saying. I'm saying that first movie is definitely could be considered a horror movie.
Yeah, just the tone, the everything about it just has slash written all over it. Yeah, exactly. Even MJ's Thriller had exactly like Beast Within had nothing. That movie went off, and I said, "Fuck this movie."
Yeah, like I said, like I didn't hate it. It's not one of the worst movies. It's better than everything Blumhouse has put out, at least. You know what I'm saying? Which ain't saying much, but it's still, I still have it like relatively high on my list, my letterbox.
Really, Beast
That's
Within?
I think it's in. I want to say like low 40s, somewhere 50s and stuff like that. I've seen up to this point like 83 movies, so I'm getting there.
Man,
Getting there. I'm almost
Teen Wolf 85 was more of a werewolf movie than Beast Within. And that says a lot. Teen Wolf 2 at least had 2 transformation scenes.
Right. And like I said, like any werewolf transformation scene needs to be done practical, which was really dope to kind of see. When I went to Universal, they had like this horror show that was like this horror show / comedy improv show thing. Yeah. And this chick that actually worked on a lot of these different sets and stuff had the actual I think I don't know if it was a replica or the same thing that the same mechanic the same prop that they used in American Werewolf in London. Like it was the same like animatronic thing. I was like, that was fucking cool to see. Yeah, like anytime they do werewolf transformation scenes, it's gotta be practical, bro. Don't do no CG shit. You know what I'm saying?
And it is crazy, bro. Nothing, and to this day, unless you got one, Perb, nothing is top that werewolf transformation in Werewolf in London, and that was in 1981. And I haven't seen anything to top that yet.
Yeah. And people die in Stranger Things, bro. Like they die.
Well, well, I guess he's talking about none of the main characters. Like they haven't killed anybody. Or they almost killed the girl off, the redhead girl, which my daughter was in there crying when that happened. But then end up she lived, so that kind of took the air out of that.
Yeah,
they killed Eddie Munson. Oh wait, that's right. They did. Yeah, I forgot about Eddie Munson. You're right.
My thing is, if you're building up a story, right? I'd wait till this is the perfect season 5 would be the perfect time to just start killing all your main characters, because like now the stakes are even higher, the budget's higher. Like this is the last, hurrah and stuff like that. That's when you start, killing people off. But that's here nor there. Some more worst of horrors. Stop giving Ryan Murphy fucking money to do shit. Just period. Just stop giving this man money. Like he comes out with like 50 different series, and it's just like I'm over what he did with like American Horror Story. I didn't watch Monster and shit. Like I was kind of just over Ryan Murphy and his bullshit. But when I saw this trailer for Grotesque, whatever the fuck it's called, it intrigued me, but then I was just like, no, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. because I already know. Because like Ryan Murphy will have good setup in the beginning of his show, and then he'll just say, "Ah, you know what? I'm gonna make up the rest of the way." That's usually how like his seasons go and stuff with a lot of his storytelling and stuff like that. Just stop giving that man money.
Hell no. What about? Damn, I just had one in my head, man. It just left me. Oh shit. Oh, what about I wanted to see that movie Stream, but
I did not get to watch that shit because I was so mad, bro. I was in Florida. I wanted to go to the theater, but it just like didn't match up my time and stuff. And I
yeah.
just wish they had it for another week because I came back like Monday, and like the last night was like Sunday. So I was like, fuck, why couldn't they just have it in theaters for like a week so I can go see it? I heard nothing but good things about it. So
Yeah, well, but my AMC, of course, be on the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Where they'll have it on the app, and when I click to go see it, it says, up there are no showtimes for this movie. And I'm like, fuck. Come on, man. Y'all got AMC gotta do better. Like even with Sing Sing, I want to see Sing Sing. Nope. They said,
yeah,
sorry, there's no showtime.
that's A24 doing that shit, bro.
Uh
Like I think you can get free screenings though if you go on their site or some shit like that. You just like you shouldn't have to do all that shit just to go watch a goddamn movie. Put it on the goddamn app, please. Put the
right,
showtimes on the
right.
goddamn app, bro. Like
Yeah, like they do that to me. Like a lot of small movies I wanted to see that's happened with. Like even that movie, a hip hop story. I had to actually go to the site and pay $11 to watch it. They gave it to me for 3 days, but that's how I got to see it because AMC be on the bullshit when it comes to smaller movies.
yeah, for the most part, sometimes like it could be like it gets a limited release first in those in like major cities like
Right.
LA and New York, and then 3 weeks later it'll come out on in AMC and stuff like that. I
The
hate that,
stream
but
was a stream made by your boy Damien Leone, the Terrifier guy.
it's no, it's the production company that made Terrifier 2. It wasn't
Ah,
Damien that made it, yeah. So
okay.
and they also I saw the trailer for the Peter Pan joint they're making. I'm more excited for the Pinocchio one. I really want to see how they do
Yo, nah,
that.
that Peter Pan one looked fire, man. I wasn't expecting the trailer to look that good. I said, yo, this legit looks like it's gonna be terrifying.
Hmm.
I thought I didn't see the Pinocchio trailer, but that Peter Pan trailer looked fire.
Yeah, I don't think they put out the Pinocchio one yet, but I just like the design and stuff. If it's anything like that, I'm sold. And I've been liking I like the Poonaverse stuff, like the Poonaverse stuff. Like they
Right.
really stepped it up with Winnie the Pooh 2, completely
Mhm.
different than the first one. I like how they made Winnie the Pooh 2 is just like that's the movie that's based off of what's going on, like doing that whole meta shit. I think that works. That works,
Right.
and I'm pretty sold on this. And I think it's gonna be ridiculous. Bambi looks fire though. Bambi looks
Yeah.
like that's gonna be a legit problem right there. Like that's a deer you don't want to run into at all. Like
Shit. Nah, facts, man. And yeah, Pinocchio, like the Disney animated Pinocchio movie scared me. So if they can do the horror movie right, yeah, like that movie's legit. That's frightening. Like, when they go to Pleasure Island, that whole shit was terrifying, man. Yeah, they turned you
nah,
into a
fuck it.
damn donkey.
No, fucking Peter Pan's always been like I've always thought that'd be a cool horror movie because it's like a kid. It's a dude that just sneaks into your kid's room and takes him to Neverland. What kind of shit is that?
Yeah.
What the hell was Disney thinking about that shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where were their minds at? Like,
Man, them niggas
yeah.
was high. That's where their minds are. Them niggas was high as a kite. Shoot. Listen, if you need further proof how high Disney people were, check out the Jungle Book. You can't tell me the people that did the Jungle Book wasn't high on weed. Fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, for sure. With that one scene and shit like that. Yeah, that they was definitely off some shit. They was definitely off like tripping on acid and stuff when they were making these movies. That's probably what they need to go back to doing some drugs to make some better movies and stuff like that.
Facts. The same company that made the Racist Crows. Oh, you're talking about Dumbo. Man, look, if they erase Song of the South, man, they gotta erase Dumbo too. Dumbo is some of the most racist shit you'll ever see.
Bro, it's just so crazy
man.
what they're able to get away with. Even like, what was it, the original Fantasia or some shit like that? Yeah, some racist shit. But yeah, like staring it back to horror.
Yeah.
What's another? I feel like if we're predicting the future, what's a future movie? I already said like Wolfman. I got no expectations for that because it's Blumhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Just anything you see with Blumhouse, it's unfortunate too. It's like anything you see with Blumhouse's name on it, you just gotta like look at that shit with the side eye, be like, yeah,
Yeah,
you know
well,
what I'm saying? Like
that's
even
why I
Megan
said
too.
take it back to the roots, man.
Yeah, or just yeah, I don't know what they need to do, but like it seems like Megan's gonna make them a lot of money. Megan 2 is gonna make them a lot of money, and they're gonna spin off that to Soulmate. Maybe Soulmate is gonna be a more R-rated. You know, even though Megan should be rated R, but I understand
Well, they have
they
a
want
rated R
the
version of that movie, don't they? Don't they have like an R-rated
yeah.
version
I
or the
didn't even
unrated
bother
version?
watching that because like a lot of people says like it's kind of just man. So
Mm.
it's like why even I don't know, bro. It's just
What about that new movie that just came out? Doesn't that tie into the whole Megan verse? AI movie, whatever, about the home security system that kind of just goes rogue and terrorizes this family.
you talking about Afraid.
Yeah, Afraid. Yeah, that's what's called, Afraid. Yeah,
That's just trash. Don't even work. It don't even
don't even go.
trash, bro. I'm just
Yeah,
like, man. I'm like, who writes these? Who's writing these movies? Like these dialogue and stuff. Like it's hilarious. It's so bad. It's hilarious. Like I will say, like Afraid is not. It's better than Night Swim, Imaginary.
hmm
Um, it's low on my list, but it's not Blumhouse's worst. You know what I'm
okay,
saying? Like.
okay.
And I think it helps that it has only an hour and 20-minute runtime. So
That's it. Damn,
that shit,
less than an hour and a half.
yeah, it's less than an hour and a half. So you can just like sit there and watch it by the time. Like I feel like I dozed off a little bit. Like I closed my eyes for like 5 minutes in that
Yeah,
movie because I
hell
was like,
no.
bro, what we go?
Hey, you pulled to me. That's some shit I
Yeah,
be doing, man. Be falling asleep quick.
yeah. So that's pretty much all I got tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're gonna be talking about sequels.
Mm.
For episode 2. And like I said, I appreciate people that pulled up tonight in the live chat. Terrence, BG, Tony as
Yeah.
usual. Tony always pulls up. He always gonna show love. Appreciate it.
Hey,
Um
Terrence wants me to remind you that he's your friend, and he was arguing with you. He's giving you a conversation.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Terrence, man. He's always been, very
Yeah,
supportive of
yeah,
all his fellow creators and stuff like that. I always appreciate it.
right,
Always
right.
appreciate it. But yeah, that's all I got for it tonight. Let me know y'all what y'all guys think is the worst of horror at this point, or just any bad horror movie. Like you could bring up Jeepers Creepers, was it Reborn or some shit like that shit was really bad.
That was
But yeah, let me know your thoughts on just everything that's talked about, the horror recommendations, anything. But until next time, I will see y'all tomorrow night or the next episode. Peace.
peace.